Hello, juggly people. You might have noticed by this point, you've been building your routine by taking these different sequences and putting them next to each other as it fits into the music. And you might be feeling that in some points that it's a little bit disjointed. I see this a lot with people who are building their first routines or early routines, that they'll maybe finish one section, maybe it'll be a little hand transfer section, and then they'll stop. And now it's the isolation section. And then they'll stop. And now it's the rolling section. So what can we do to make everything more fluid, to fit everything together, and to transition not necessarily between moves, but between sections, between sequences? A really big part of this is intention. Now, intention is massive. This is one of these huge areas of contact that you can keep digging down into. But let's give a quick introduction to this. And as usual with these videos, talk a little bit about the mechanical side and a bit more about what's going on inside, the internal side of things. So from a mechanical point of view, I talked a little bit about this again with the sequencing of putting similar moves together. But you can do the same thing. For me, that palm circle into the rolls, it's the same idea because I'm making this circle that leads into another circle. And on the micro level of that, keeping the speed, the same atmosphere behind it. If the ball is feeling floaty, I want that to continue into the roll as well. I don't want it to suddenly speed up as it leads the hand because it's going to make this transition just not as smooth. It's going to be less fluid. It's going to be a bit jarring to see. So whenever you're jumping between these ideas, these different styles, try and always keep the mechanical intention the same. The ball enters the roll from the isolation with the same speed, the same fluidity behind it, and it exits as well in the same way. And you can really practice those transitions. Little ideas like practicing just the transition over the fingertips like that and getting that as smooth as you can. Rolling into the cradle and back into the palm with as little bump as possible. And even a little trick which I really like of going from the cradle over the fingers and into your position there. Making this nice dead stop and taking you out of rolling sections. Being ready to go into whatever isolation you want to do next. And then the theoretical side. That's this whole other world again that you can really play around with, mess around with, but keeping that intention the same. First you have to trick yourself, and then the audience will follow you. So if you're telling yourself, if you're playing around with the idea that the ball is the lightest thing in the world and it's floating away, your body's naturally going to react to that in the same way. If it's really heavy, your body's naturally going to get underneath it, your muscles are going to tense up. Not because you're mechanically thinking about what every part of your body's doing, but because you're used to carrying something heavy. You know what your body instinctively does in that scenario. And that's not just isolation. You can apply that to rolls as well. Your rolls can feel heavy and difficult. And that's going to make these transitions smoother as well. Really thinking about the floatiness of the ball as it's travelling around. Convincing yourself that your body's just underneath, trying desperately to keep onto it before it disappears into the sky. Really playing with those ideas. That's what a lot of this is. You stop practicing at a certain point and just start playing with it. And again, that's going to make those transitions that much smoother. And play with that. Really enjoy that space. It's supposed to be fun. It's not just drills and drills and drills. It's surprising yourself by what automatically, instinctively you'll do when you set parameters onto the ball. So again, mechanically, making sure that you always keep a nice constant pace, a nice constant speed, a nice constant tension across the body, no matter what techniques you're doing. And then on the more internal side, are you having the same emotional intensity, the same theoretical, the same play space with the ball and how it reacts to your body?